Hello everyone, and welcome to the first vlog of the year. How did I make it through 2021? I have no answer for that. So this is the last week in January. I wanted to film a vlog or two earlier, but I've been caught up in just like organizing my life and trying to see what I want to do for the rest of this year. So I'm just like taking January to relax, but also just build up enough confidence to do the things that I want to do in 2022. But I still have been reading alongside that. So I started off the month with A Diary of Blood, which was like 4 out of 5 stars, amazing. And then I read Act Your Age, Eve Brown, which is on my TBR for this month. And then now I am reading Gone Girl and A Sky Beyond the Storm. I think I mentioned this in another video, but Gone Girl is the Patreon book club read for like the month. And literally I'm only up to like page 99. And all I have to say is, Nick Dunn, watch your back. I have so many annotations in this right now. Look at the annotations in this hoe. Very much annotated. It's just that there's a lot of toxicity and there's a lot of things that Nick does that I'm just like, what the hell? But Amy has her toxicity just as much, and I'm just like, sometimes I think to myself and I'm just like, yo, they kind of deserve each other. Like, they met their matches. Like, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, all I know is I haven't mapped out. Part 2, part 3 is marked with the green tabs, and then like the pink tabs are like my page markers, which indicates like each 100-page mark, or as close to an 100-page mark as I can get. And that just breaks down the book and makes it easier for me to consume it, especially if like I'm busy with other things. So I just try to make it consumable in a timely like fashion. Okay, enough of Gone Girl. Wait, no, not enough. So currently I am up to I am now up to the part where Amy, like, she's missing and everybody's like trying to find her and they're putting 2 and 2 together. So I'm basically reading about Nick lying and like how he's trying to put on this show of being like the good husband, the good son, and all that stuff, while Amy's just like la-di-da writing down in her diary about like their past encounters and how they met each other and how they fell in love. So that's just like so funny to me, just jumping between like Nick having a whole like, he's just like, I don't know what to do, I'm losing it, and then Amy's just like, so on January 24th 2010 we fell in love. And I'm just like, LOL. So totally love that. I love how Gillian Flynn definitely has a way of writing that's very analytical. It makes you want to analyze everything, and that's probably why I have so many tabs, because the energy and the persona of both characters are definitely so deep yet so simple at the same time. So it's relatable depending on who you are, but it's also like, I would never do that. I wonder why that character's doing that. And then Gillian Flynn was just like, let me tell you why. And I really appreciate that, because sometimes my theories are true and other times my theories are like so far off, but like other times I'm going deeper than the author themselves. So it's just really nice to read something that's a little bit more like in-depth but simple at the same time. So it's consumable if you don't want to analyze it, but it's also there for people who want to analyze it, which is refreshing because it's like a balance of the two. Okay, now on to A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir, which is the final installment in the An Ember in the Ashes series. Like the last book, the end of a series, the end of a time period, the end of an amazing series. And I'm only up to page 198. I have a page marker for like 258, which is the end of part 2. So I'm excited to finish this book and finish this series and see what happens to my favorite characters. So far there are so many things going down, and I love that Laya is a lot more confident and a lot more sure of herself. In A Reaper at the Gates, Laya was definitely very, you know, strong, independent, and we saw her grow even more so as other characters were introduced and other characters came to her side. but in this book, to see her be even more confident, even more sure of herself, even more like this dominant, amazing, independent woman is very, very commendable. And I love that her and Helene have such a good relationship in this book. It's really refreshing to see them like just pat each other in the back even when they're not in each other's presence. And I just love the girl boss energy. I'm kind of upset with Elias right now, but it's not his fault. But then again, it is his fault. But yeah, I'm kind of upset with him, and I'm gonna be upset until he comes to his senses. Hopefully that happens. But knowing Sabatahir, well, knowing Sabatahir's like writing style, I don't know if there's gonna be a happy ending, but I definitely enjoy what's going on so far in the book. I mean, there's been a lot of sad moments, which is like represented by the blue tab so far, and a lot of orange moments, but I'm definitely laughing a little bit with like those green tabs. And there's a lot of love moments with the purple tabs. Still like really scared, because I posted on my like Instagram story, my bookstagram, that I'm scared to start this, but I'm gonna push through even though I know I'm gonna cry. So yeah, I'm still scared because I might just end up like in a cradle position crying my eyes out. Yeah, but I'm gonna push through because I love these characters. I love this series, so I want to see what happens to them. I want to finish this series so I can get to All My Rage, which is coming out in March. Of course, this series and that book don't really correlate, but I want to be finished with one Sabatahir, you know, series before I get into this standalone. So yeah, excited. So those are the two books that I will be focusing on today. I plan to get to the page marker or farther in A Sky Beyond the Storm, and then hopefully I can get to the page marker in Gone Girl. I also want to pick up The Wicked King, but I might just read that in one sitting tomorrow. But then again, I have something to do tomorrow, so let's see how that works. But then again, I do want to pick it up because on my TBR for the month I have Emma by Jane Austen, Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn. I have Actor Age Eve Brown by Talia Hibbert, which I've already read. I have The Poppy War by R.F. Kuang. I have The Wicked King by Holly Black. And then I have A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabatahir. And as you can see, I've already read one, and I'm reading these two currently. And then I don't know if I'm gonna get to Emma, but I definitely will try to pick up The Poppy War, but I know I'm gonna read The Wicked King. So that's basically that. Yeah, I wish I had a time machine. Oh my gosh, I forgot that I wanted to do my affirmation cards with you all. Books with Chloe has been like raving. Whoa. Books with Chloe has been raving about these affirmation cards. They have become everything for me in the morning. Usually in the mornings, I just like shuffle them and then I scatter them out and pick one. It's so refreshing. It makes me optimistic and it makes me want to push through the day even more than before. I have become very unmotivated in pandemic, and I just wanted something that would make me a little more motivated than I was last year. And having these affirmation cards have made me a lot more motivated. And so I'm just like, yeah. So now I'm just gonna spread them out. Oh, and these are from Dreamy Moons. Amazing. I also have my planner for this year from Dreamy Moons. It's such a good Australian brand. Like, that joint is fire, and the quality of everything is really good. These cards are thick, they're amazing, and they have like this gold on the side. It's so nice. Even the planner has gold like on the side, and the quality of that is amazing. Okay, now I'm gonna choose one. I did two yesterday, but I'm gonna choose one today. Okay, I'm gonna go with this one. It's I silence my mind and listen intently. Why was it so hard for me to say that? Anyways, look how gorgeous this is. First of all, like, the illustrations on these are so gorgeous. And yeah, so what I usually do after I pick an affirmation card, I put away the rest, and then I take the one that I picked out, or the two or the three, because I like to pick out three. I said the two, the three, the two or the three, because I usually like to pick out like 2 or 3. There was one time I picked out 4, but that was because I needed a lot of motivation that day. It depends on the day, I guess. So usually after I've picked out my affirmation card, I write down the affirmation for the day in my planner so that I can remember each affirmation for each day. I just don't know why I started that, but I just do it. There's even like recommendations on how to use the cards on the back, and it tells you that you can take the cards with you, like how I do my rose quartz and other like gemstones. You could take it with you and keep it as like something to motivate you throughout the day, and the good energy will follow you. Or you can even stick it into somewhere, but I really want to keep them for like more than one usage. I want them to be continuous, because who knows when I might need that certain affirmation for another day, in another month, or in another year. So I decided I wasn't gonna stick it in a journal or something. So I usually just like lay them out, and whatever I'm drawn to I pick, and if it's already been picked before I go again, and if I'm drawn to that, da da da. Okay, bye. Yes. So it is now Wednesday, and I have made a little bit of progress in Gone Girl. I am up to page 162. I went out for majority of the day. I needed to do a little shopping and then sort some things out. So I did get some reading done at the appointment. Nick Dunn is gross, and he lies like it's a sport. But what's new? That's all the update I have for you. I'm still trying to reach the end of part 1, the beginning of part 2. So there's that. But before I do that, I'm gonna eat because I got some Chinese food, and as you just saw, I have my Starbucks. So I'm gonna lounge a bit. Currently watching Pirates of the Caribbean. I'm currently watching that franchise, a really good franchise. In my movie era, like my franchise era of watching like a whole bunch of franchises that are amazing, I started Back to the Future. So excited for that because I have been obsessed with Back to the Future, but I've never actually seen the movies, which is like, what kind of fan am I? Like, that doesn't even make sense. And then Pirates of the Caribbean, I've only seen like 2 of the movies, but I haven't watched the whole series of movies. So that's one that I want to get into because like my favorite franchises are like Fast and the Furious, even though I don't know why they prolonging it so much because the movies is just getting worse and worse. I did love Hobbs and Shaw. That was fun, but that's about it. And then another one is Transformers. I did really love Bumblebee when they did his little moment. That was cute. I love that. How to Train Your Dragon is definitely a franchise that's like underrated, but I definitely love it. But I'm glad they kept it to like a minimum of like 4 or 5 movies. But there's like 3 main movies. Definitely love that. So I rewatched like a couple movies in the Transformers franchise, and then I watched all of the How to Train Your Dragon movies, and I've just been going down the line of movies and franchises. So yeah, now I'm on Pirates of the Caribbean and Back to the Future. So I'm excited about that. But I plan to read up to the end of part 1, the beginning of part 2, by the end of today. Currently waiting on a package. So excited about that. All right, that's all the update I have for you guys. So yeah. That's that brown sugar shaken espresso with oat milk. Bussin'. All right, I'm gonna go. Okay, hello everyone. It is the next day, and I haven't made any like progress on my reading. I ended up falling asleep really early because 1, I was tired, and 2, I had somewhere to go today, which I did go because I went to go get my COVID vaccine. So yeah, I went and got that done today. And then after I did that, in the same area, there was this 99-cent store that sells a whole bunch of arts and crafts, and my mom and I always go there for different materials so that we can decorate our door. We usually go there and then we shop around at other stores, but that's like our main store because they have a lot of like really fun things in that store. So while I was in there, I picked up a couple things because I saw that Books with Chloe had like these roses that she has for her journal, and I was like, that's a really cool idea because I've been eyeing these roses in this 99-cent store, but I just wouldn't know what to do with it because I was thinking of using them for a makeup look. And since Valentine's Day is coming up, I was like, that would be perfect for a makeup look. But then again, what if I want to reuse them? What would I use them for? And journaling is such a smart idea. But yeah, I got different colors, and one of the colors that I got first it's like this lavender-ish purple. They're not bloomed. The ones that Books with Chloe had was like these bloomed ones that were like really wide, but these are like pre-bloom, like they just sprung up and they're about to bloom. So really cute. And then I got this pink one. That's like a baby pink. And then I got this really nice like blue. Looks like a sky blue. Very pretty. And then of course I got white. And I want to use the pink ones for a makeup look that I'm planning to do for my February look for my Instagram page, because I have like 5 different Instagrams, but I'm very active on 3 at the moment. My business Instagram, NYC Simplicity, and then my main Instagram, which is where I post like content just because, like, about my life and and mostly makeup. And then I have my Bookstagram, which I started recently, where I post book content and then maybe a piece of my life. Why not? Because who just wants to stare at books all the time? You can mix in your life with books, and I've seen a lot of Bookstagrammers do it, and I quite enjoy it, so why not? And so I found like this glass little jar, and it opens like this. You open the hatch, pull that down, and then boom, storage. So this is where I'm gonna put the roses. Ooh. Is that the right one? That's where I'm gonna store the roses. Oh yeah, I got this yellow one. Those are so pretty. And then I saw like these really pretty pearl looking things, and this is so cute and so fun. And there was other colors. They weren't as pretty as the lavender one, so I went with the lavender one. And I just have so many fun ideas for this, especially for like spring. I think this would be like a fun little moment. And then I got these, why can't I see them? Okay. And then I got these fun little butterflies. There's like a white one and a silverish like off-white one, and I thought those will also be fun for the springtime. Okay, so that's all the updates that I have for you all. So I'm gonna fill up this jar with the roses, and then I'm gonna watch the second movie in the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise, and then I'm gonna pick up Gone Girl. All right, enough talking, I'm gonna go. Bye. Just cracking this song is so good. Oh, EBI. Per. Oh, OT7. Per Bob Per. Okay, so it took me a very long time to film the end of this vlog, the wrap up part of this vlog, because like I've been so busy doing things, and I've been trying to organize things for my shop and organize my life, which I did mention in the beginning of this vlog, which is what I was trying to do in January, but obviously that's working its way into February. But anyways, it did take me a while to do this, and hopefully I can still have the same emotions and thoughts that I had at the time when I finished both of these books. So Gone Girl by Gillian Flynn was the Patreon book club for January, and I have watched the movie. Once I saw everybody talking about how amazing this book is, and then how amazing the movie is. It's one of those adaptations, very well adapted, very well summarized, because a lot of adaptations that take piece in piece from like the books don't always summarize the story that well. However, after reading the book, I have realized that the movie is a very accurate and very well put together adaptation of Gone Girl. And then while I was raving about the book after I finished it to my mom, my aunt was over, and she was like, "Oh, did you know that this book is based off of a real story?" And I was like, no, they didn't mention that in the group chat. The way I felt about Gone Girl is the same way I felt after I watched the movie. And the funny thing is, I watched the movie first and I read the book second, and I read and watched them in the same way emotion wise, because I started off not picking a side, and then I started to lean towards Amy, and then I found myself thinking they were equally both insane, and that I was delusional for trying to choose a side in the first place, which is exactly how I felt about the very like contradictory, I wouldn't say it was contradictory, but like as of an opinions, it was contradictory, Malcolm and Marie. I really love that little movie that Netflix came out with, that little film that Netflix came out with. A lot of people didn't vibe with it, but I felt like it's similar in a way to Gone Girl, even though Gone Girl goes into more detail and it's a more elongated story. I feel like Malcolm and Marie and Gone Girl both take place within two toxic relationships where the man is heavily focused on himself and his career and trying to figure out ways to please himself but never fully healing, while the woman is drawn into his crazy world and she starts to go insane and she starts to lose herself within the process. And as she regains herself, she starts to read him for filth. That's how I saw this. I started to connect those two, and Gone Girl was ahead of her time. She really inspired a lot of pieces. Overall, I would have to say that Gillian Flynn is honestly a genius for creating something so toxic, so deliberately like in your face, but making you want to just sympathize with these characters, further understand them, and pick a side. And the way that Gillian Flynn plays on gender roles within this book and how these characters feed into their gender roles, but Amy being somebody who wants to break out of her gender role, and then same thing for Nick, but don't really know how, but still they're feeding into their gender role. It's just insane, because I feel like as a society, like, a lot of us are always trying to say that we're breaking out of these gender roles, but we're never fully ever reaching the surface. We're just continuously drowning in them because everybody wants to be a people pleaser. And I feel like Amy and Nick definitely reflected that. I feel like they were two people who were always trying to please people, and they grew up on a foundation of pleasing people. Amy with her books, Nick with his father and his mother and the people around him. And just like the environment that they were in, they were always trying to please people, and they were given these roles within society. And as a woman, Amy had to fulfill certain things that amazing Amy was fulfilling that she wasn't. And then Nick wanted to fulfill as much things that his father has done that he knew he couldn't. So I just felt like it was definitely talking deeper, more than just like marital problems. It was more like a man and a woman exist in a society where they want to be who they are, but they don't fully know how to because their environment has taught them to be these toxic people. So I don't know if that made sense, but that's just like my little spiel for Gone Girl. Overall, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. I absolutely loved it. Again, Gillian Flynn is obviously a genius, and there was just like this moment at the end of the book that really stuck with me, where Amy was talking about her overall take on marriage. And she goes, "I was told love should be unconditional. That's the rule. Everyone says so. But if love has no boundaries, no limits, no conditions, why should anyone try to do the right thing ever? If I know I am loved no matter what, where is the challenge? I am supposed to love Nick despite all his shortcomings, and Nick is supposed to love me despite my quirks. But clearly, neither of us does. It makes me think that everyone is very wrong, that love should have many conditions. Love should require both partners to be their very best at all times. Unconditional love is undisciplined love. And as we all have seen, undisciplined love is disastrous." I just thought like her take on unconditional love was definitely a conversation starter. Nobody really dives deep into what love is, but like I feel like this was a thesis, and Amy's like questioning love, and Gillian Flynn is using Amy to question love. And I just thought that was really genius, and I think it's a really good conversation starter. And I kind of would love to write an essay on that one little paragraph. If I had read this as a classic in high school and we had to write an essay on this instead of like books that I read like Lolita. I mean, Lolita was definitely an interesting take too, like a very toxic person trying to warp the perception of the reader. That was a very interesting take, but I would have preferred to have read a book like this and wrote an essay on it, because there is so many things to dive into, so many things that can easily fly over your head. And if you're properly like analyzing it, you can see how ingenious Gillian Flynn is. Like it's insane. So yeah, as you can see, this book is tabbed up. This is probably one of my most heavily annotated and tabbed books. Tabbed up. So I cannot wait to reread this, and there's probably going to be a lot more tabs. Moving on to an also equally amazing book, away from thrillers into fantasy, and this book is The Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabaa Tahir, and all I have to say is, wow. I literally have so many words and none at all for this book. To be honest, I looked at a lot of the reviews on Goodreads and I honestly felt the same way as a lot of people, but I didn't at the same time. A lot of people gave it like 4 stars or 4.5 because of how heartbreaking this book is and how many characters died off, and they felt like a lot of the deaths were pointless, but I kind of disagreed because a lot of the deaths led to this victory. And I feel like when it comes to war, there's going to be so much death and sadness and a lot of mourning. And this series has been a continuous climax of war. There just has been this continuous climb of people just dying slowly until like this final book where it's just like, this is the last time you're going to see these characters. This is the last time you're going to be introduced to a lot of people. This is the last time you're going to see the heroic acts of certain people, because this is the end result of war. And I felt like the other books were preparing for this moment, so I didn't really feel as hurt as other people because I understood that from A Torch Against the Night up until this point, because An Ember in the Ashes was very la-di-da. I felt like it just like really introduced the world and the characters and got me excited for what's gonna come next. But A Torch Against the Night really set the tone for me and really told me like, eventually I'm going to have to see these characters go because they're in this endless war. And then the war finally ended and so many people that I loved ended up dying. I felt like Sabaa Tahir is such a genius for breaking that fourth wall as an author, because I felt like while other characters were experiencing certain emotions like anxiety, depression, sadness, or manic episodes, I felt like I was fully there with them. Even if I wasn't entirely feeling what they were feeling, I felt like I was definitely feeling it. And a lot of the times Sabaa Tahir would create like these rhetorical questions without exactly pointing them out, like making them obvious. And I found myself internally answering those questions and just like having a full experience while reading these books, and this one in particular. I thought that although there's so much death in this and so much sadness, it all makes sense, it all works, and it just makes the outcome of the whole story a lot more gratifying, although sad, a lot more gratifying, because the end result is so relieving. And although there's a lot of death, there is a lot of healing going on in here, because there's a lot of people connecting with their inner child and allowing their inner child to heal. We see people learning how to love, how to forgive. We see people allowing themselves to be loved. I just feel like throughout the series, I have gotten to know a lot of people that I can identify with. I've actually grown to love Helene, and I found a lot of myself in Helene. Same thing for Laya. I found a lot of myself in Laya, and same thing for Elias too. And strangely, I found a lot of myself in the Nightbringer and the Commandant. I was just like, yo, they have some similarities to me. And I'm just like, Sabaa Tahir is such a genius for doing that too, because although these characters are far beyond forgiveness, she continuously gives you a reason to want to forgive them, to want to understand them, to want to continue to root for them to change. And like, it's so interesting the way that she does that. And so I felt like this was the perfect wrap up for this series. I felt like it allowed things to be aired, it allowed secrets to be shown, it allowed healing to take place in the midst of war and death. And a lot of the quotes within this book stuck with me, and I cannot wait to reread this whole series. I cried my eyes out at the end, and Helene and her experiences will always be one of the most impactful for me. I cannot wait to read All My Rage now that I've finally finished this series. So this is a closed chapter until I reread it again, and I cannot wait to start a new Sabaa Tahir chapter and get into more of her work, because this was astounding. This was beyond my vision of what these books would look like. I did not expect all of this to be in this final book in the series. And Sabaa Tahir signed, sealed, and delivered this hoe, and I'm actually not that mad. I'm actually not that mad. I know a lot of people were mad, but I guess I'm like the adjacent where I'm like upset, but not that upset. So I gave it 5 out of 5 stars, of course, because it's so good. Like, Sabaa Tahir has a real talent, and I'm just really obsessed. And of course, a tabs moment. Ooh, there we go. A tabs moment. And I highly recommend this series, and I highly recommend Gone Girl. And I recommend the movie for Gone Girl. I need Sabaa Tahir to get movie rights or TV show rights for this series, because I would love to see the casting. I would love to see Lion Elias on screen. I would love to see who Helene would be. Like, that would just be so interesting. All right, so that's basically it for this vlog. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I have all my social media links down below. Again, please like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Okay, bye.